Hey guys, what's up? Toboloco here. Welcome to the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia DLC for FIFA 18. And today we're going to be doing a what if scenario, and that is what if China qualified for the 2018 World Cup. Now this is a bit of a stretch, this one, because usually we do teams that are extremely close to qualifying. Now don't get me wrong, China did almost qualify for this tournament in a way, because if you look at the table they were in the group, Iran came top with 22 points, South Korea had 15 points, Syria had 13 and they went to the playoffs, and Uzbekistan had 13, and also China had 12. So China were only 1 point off the playoff and only 3 points off the automatics. Now you could make the case that they could have qualified automatically, could have done, and they could have been in Group F with Germany, Mexico and Sweden. I think more realistically China could have probably gone to the playoffs if it weren't for Syria. And let's just say for this scenario's sake that they went against Australia in that playoff just like Syria did, and then beat Australia, and then they also went to the Interconfederation playoff, which Australia went to in real life, and beat Honduras. Let's just say that it's a little bit of a stretch, like I said, but you know, I mean, it could have been possible, at least with China getting to the playoffs for the World Cup. At least it was Syria in real life, but sadly we don't have Syria on this game. It would have been cool to do a scenario with Syria on this, but like I said, sadly we don't have them, so we're gonna have to stretch it out and do China. Taking a look at the Chinese squad, there's really no players that I actually know from China at all. Like, I don't even know their squad at all. Our first match is against France, and this whole thing is on Legendary to try and make it as realistic as possible. Here we go then. First match for China is against France. In real life, I reckon France would have wiped the floor with China. I'm not trying to be harsh. I think that this 2018 France team would have absolutely just destroyed them. I think it would have been like 5-0 or something like that. Now I have used this China team in a run on this game. I believe it was just a randomized run like I did before with most of these nations on this game. But this time it's a good excuse as a what if scenario to go back and see what we can do with China. So through ball, and Mbappe, he back heels it. Look at this move by France. That was actually so good. And in the 4th minute of the game, Griezmann scores to make it 1-0 to France. I told you. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to China and their national team, but I think France would have just blown them out of the water. That was so good by Mbappe. He completely fooled us all on that play by feeding it back to Dembele and then to Griezmann for the goal. Crossed in and headed away there. China feel very slow on this DLC, really slow. Of course, they're going to be. They're only like a 2.5-star nation, I think. It was unfortunate that Syria lost against Australia in that Asia playoff game. It was only 3-2 as well on aggregate, so you know it could have like gone either way. Syria were scoring goals, so yeah, you know, it would have been great if Syria did win it. Whether or not they would have beaten Honduras is up for debate. I mean, I don't know how good Honduras were in 2018. Mbappe, and he's tackled there, but he retrieves it. China defensively struggling in this one to contain France's attack. Of course, they are the winners of the 2018 World Cup, so of course I expect them to be insane. We all know how good that 2018 France squad was. Crossed in and headed just over the bar there. It's going to be another corner for China. I have to say though, like, this DLC, even for a game that's 6 years old, it still looks fantastic. That was a terrible ball by the goalkeeper, and good save. I only wanted to pass it to my defender just so I can play it out from the back, and it resulted in Mbappe and Griezmann pushing forward again. It's a through ball. Dembele, he's through, he passes it, and oh, that just goes wide. I don't know why Dembele didn't run on through and tap it in. It's headed away. China have got it. And it's tackled. They're just too slow to do anything against France here. I mean, it's a miracle how we walked away with a 1-0 loss there. I think in real life, if this result were to play out, of course, I still think France would win, but I stand by my point. I think that France would win like 4 or 5-0. Our second match then is against Denmark, another tricky opponent for China. I think in real life, if this result were to happen, Denmark would win, in my opinion, but it wouldn't be an absolute walkover. It would be like a 2-0, something like that, I think. Currently, Denmark and France are top of the group at the moment. I said at the start that Peru would be our best chance to win, and I think that is probably going to be the case. But of course, I think Denmark might win here and just eliminate us, and we'll have a tiny video on our hands. But that's okay, you know. At least it'll be semi-realistic. Good passing play, and China lost it there, and that just went wide by Vass. Could have scored, because look at this. What kind of touch was that? It just feels like, at least on this game, that China are just so slow and they can't do anything like special on the ball. Through ball. China pressing, crossed in, header. Oh, that's gone in. China have scored, and that's 1-0. And, well, out of nothing, pretty much. I just sort of crossed it in, and he just headed it in back post. And that's 1-0 to China. I mean, possible. You know, China can get goals, but I still think they'll lose here, especially in a real-life situation. Very good header, you know, at the back post there. Completely caught Denmark off guard. Fan Long. And it's blocked, but hold on. China have got it. Denmark not defending great at the moment. Edge of the box, finesse shot is really poor. So at half time, China are winning 1-0 thanks to this man here, Tan Long, and it was a great header, fantastic, and it's just caught me off guard really how we're winning at the moment, because I would have expected Denmark to win this, especially in a real life situation if China did go to this World Cup. And Denmark, good passing play, and Eriksson just skims it past the post. Eriksson, it's a good play, and Eriksson off the post. Oh my goodness, how close are Denmark getting? China have an injury, and China are still holding on here. Denmark with Sisto. He goes for it, and again, just caught. They've had a lot of shots, but they can't break us down. China are 8 minutes away from winning this match. And, well, if I do win it, then, well, I have to say it, in my opinion, it will be unrealistic, but it'll be a great result for China in the circumstance of trying to get out of the group stage. It's the 89th minute, and Schmeichel's up for this corner. What can Denmark do? It's headed, and that's actually gone in. No! Oh, in the 89th minute, Denmark have equalised against China to spare themselves some blushes, and that's 1-1. You could just tell it was looping there, and you just knew it was going to go in. And even if it wasn't going to go in, I think Delaney at the back post, is it? He would have headed it in. So yeah, that's so annoying. But I mean, it counted as an own goal for China. It was an own goal. That's a bit harsh. That's way too harsh. But yeah, I think, well, a draw still in the realms of fantasy, in my opinion. But, you know, not as much as a win. I think China, if they could have just really held on, they might have been able to draw against Denmark. Very unlikely, though. Look at those stats. Denmark, 11 shots. China, 3. You can definitely tell we were getting pressed in. And I knew we would. But, yeah, just Denmark couldn't finish their chances. So China get a point. And France also drew 0-0 with Peru. So that's slightly unrealistic because France beat Peru in real life, I think, right? I can't remember that far back now. But yeah, now we got Peru in our final match. And it's basically do or die for China. Final match then of the group stage for China is against Peru. The opponent that I said at the start that I could most likely beat if I played well. And I played well against Denmark and I drew against them. Very unlucky because obviously the late equaliser from Denmark. But in a real life situation between China and Peru, I still think that Peru would win. I think that China, even though they're of course on the international stage away from football. They are a big nation and everything like that. I just think in football terms, especially back in 2018, they were maybe on the weaker side. Remember, we can't really draw this game because we will go out alongside Peru. And Peru have got the ball back. Flores. And just tackling these nations are just so difficult. I mean, imagine if like China somehow qualified automatically and went into Germany's group. That would have been just like demolition. Germany would have destroyed them. Sweden would have destroyed them. And Mexico would have beat them as well. Oh no, Cueva. And this is good play. Oh, what a tackle. What a tackle there. Great defending at the moment from China. Obviously, I'm in control, but it's been fantastic defending. I still think in real life, though, China would have probably leaked goals at this tournament. No, I'm not trying to be too harsh, but like France and Denmark, yeah, I just think that like you're looking at like a minus like 8 goal difference. He goes for it. And oh, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad of a cross, and the shot was okay. It was a bit of a wild one. Come Peru, Carrillo, and over the bar it goes. That was such a poor shot by Peru. Well, an hour played, and it's just been a bit of a dead game between these two. I think in real life, though, I think Peru would have been like 1 or 2 up by now. Peru looking for it here. What can they do? Crossed in. It's headed. It's gone in. Poor defending from China, and Peru have scored finally in the 85th minute to make it 1-0. And yeah, I would agree with that. You know, even though it was my fault that I conceded, I think that Peru would have beaten China in real life in an actual World Cup. Zambrano has scored to make it 1-0. And yeah, I agree with that. I think that Peru would have beaten China anyway, in my opinion. China had been eliminated from the 2018 World Cup in this what-if scenario. Peru with the late dagger to end China's group stage run. So do I think the whole entire run was realistic with China? Yeah, I do actually. Apart from the draw against Denmark, which is a tiny bit of a stretch, but I will allow it because it was a fluke header, and then obviously Denmark equalised in the 90th minute. I still believe Denmark would have beaten China. I think, me personally, I think in that group, China would have got 0 points, I think. That's not me being intentionally harsh or whatever, you know, I just don't think they're a strong team. And that is going to be your what if scenario with China in the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Did you think it was realistic? Do you think my opinion is realistic that China would have been eliminated in the group stage? Do you think China would have been in this group in real life? You know, if they had replaced Australia, Australia's path, that is, into the group stages. You know, me personally, I think that China wouldn't have qualified automatically. I think they, you know, I just can't see it personally, so that's why I put them in this group. But some might disagree. If you did enjoy this what if scenario today, then give it a like and subscribe. Keep it loco as always, and I'll see you again for the next video.